Good morning, Tig, watching this. We have already done the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto, and we're about to do some phonogram review. Okay, please write the phonogram I-E first today. I-E. And sound it out as you write. Hold it up when you're done. And you can just write the lowercase. In general, we use the lowercase. So when we do phonograms, you can just write it in lowercase. Next, please write the phonogram oi that we do use at the end of English words. Oi that we do use at the end of English words. Like employee. Hold it up when you're done. Thank you, Alina. And Harika, great job. Thank you, Arianch and Emma. We'll get to the other oi soon. Good morning, Alexander. We've already started some phonogram reviews, so you can just take out your whiteboard. Hope you're doing well today. This one is oi that we do use at the end of English words. Next, please write oi that we do not use at the end of English words, like in noise. Or oink. Hold up your board to show oi that we do not use at the end of English words. Next, a, u, u. Please write a, u, u. And sound it out as you write. I see Marcus and Samhita doing a good job of that, and Emma. A, u, u. Dikshita, you've got a lot of good phonograms, but I don't see a, u, u. Could you show me that one? That one is o, u, uff, off, ah, ow. Show me a, u, u. Great job for those of you who got it right. Ben, can you make sure you're holding it up as soon as you're done writing each time? Thank you.
And we don't underline it.
That's right. We don't underline it. It's just a single letter phonogram. We would underline it if it was saying its name in a word, though. Let's do a couple more. A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. Show me A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. Great job, Josiah. And show me which one, Arianch, is A-E that we do not use at the end of English words. Which one is? Very good. Thank you, Alina. That looks good. Harika, great job. And Sahan Nasri, you wrote another vowel phonogram, E-A. We're going to use A-E that we do not use at the end of English words, like reigning over a kingdom. This is in our recent word reign or foreign, full reign. This is what it should look like. AE that we do not use at the end of English words. Say it as you write that. AE that we do not use at the end of English words. Next, please write A-O-U. 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 Just a simple single letter phonogram, one of our basic code phonograms. And finally, AE that we do use at the end of English words. AE that we do use at the end of English words. AE that we do use at the end of English words. Okay, that's all for phonogram review. Time for some spelling word review. These words will be on the quiz, which is on Thursday this week. First, stomach. We think to spell stomach for stomach. Stomach. Very weird thing to spell. Stomach. Stomach. Or you could think of it as stomach, because we're going to use that ch phonogram. But I think it would help you to think of it as stomach. Make sure you've got the ch phonogram. Stomach is stomach. Hold it up when you're done. And thank you for those of you who are marking it without even prompting. Great job. We are still reviewing these words and have not mastered them yet, so we should continue marking. So please make sure you're marking yours still, Harika and Aryansh. But you did spell both of those correctly. Great job. But we also want to mark. Thank you. We've got 2 thinking caps and next word is straight, like a straight line. We also learned another type of straight in history, which is what, Emma? You forgot? Marcus, can you help her out? What is this, the other type of straight which we learned about in history? It's a geography term. Oh, nicely done, Dikshita. She spelled the other type of straight correctly.
So, I don't know if this is the right one. No, but 2 large bodies of water connect. I don't know if it's the right one.
That is the correct one. Good job, Marcus. So, for example, let me show you in the map around Europe, because this is what we're learning about, ancient Rome. So there are, actually, let me show you down here. This is a zoomed in map of Europe. We've got some straits where it's little narrow passageways connecting to larger bodies of water. So anything where it's like the Mediterranean Sea here connecting to the Atlantic Ocean over there, that's a strait. And we spell that type of strait without that German phonogram that we have in this one.
And parallel lines are straight lines.
Very good. Yes, we learned that word parallel, and those are straight lines. They never get any closer or further away. This type of straight, like parallel lines, uses the A to letter A phonogram and that unusual phonogram. So you think of this as straight. Anybody like to try that out? Straight. Aryansh, can you unmute yourself and try pronouncing it with that German sound? Nice. Straight. It sort of looks like A for letter A, but it has an A, the letter A in it, not the letter E. So it's not the same as like A and neighbor. So that's an unusual phonogram there. Straight. Check that your spelling matches mine. Our next one is succeed. Succeed. We have a double consonant. Like in the word accept, where one says a k sound, the other says a s sound. So succeed. The double C, one says the first sound, the other says the second sound. Succeed, succeed. And
the
great
second
job.
one says the second sound.
That's right. The first one says the
one
first
says it.
sound, the second one says the second sound.
Yeah.
And we've got E-double-E saying the E sound in this word. Succeed. Hold up your board when you're done writing it. Succeed. Succeed. Okay. Next. That one's pretty straightforward. Next is telegram. This one is a connection to roots because we've learned tela means far away or distant, and gram has to do with writing or drawing. So telegram. We actually learned this in roots before. The sound is in an unstressed syllable, so we think to spell that as telegram.
I thought it was telegraph.
There's also telegraph, but we're doing the spelling word telegram. A telegraph is the machine to send a telegram, which is the message. So the sound, telegram, is an unstressed syllable. We think to spell that as E. Hold it up when you're done. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of frozen screens, so I can't see you right now. But hold up telegram when you are finished, please. I can see some heat, and that's all. Oh, my goodness. But yes, I can see you, Samhita, so I'm at least able to track with what you're doing. Telegram. E does not say its name because it's in an unstressed syllable. That's the only marking, though. Everything else is basic code. Okay, next, let's do whistle. We've got the wh phonogram in this word, so we think to spell whistle. There's also a silent t. Whistle. Everybody try to whistle as you write it, too. I need to wet my whistle, drink some water. Everybody try out a little whistle as you write whistle. Not doing it very well. I know we've got some good whistlers in class though. Whistle is the way we think to spell this. There's a silent T. Whistle. And we've got that what phonogram. We also need a silent final E at the end of the word because otherwise it's just consonants. Whistle. Now, after you're done with that one, please write whistling. Whistling. Drop that silent final E because it's no longer needed. We don't, we have a vowel sound now, whistling. So we don't need a silent final E anymore. Please write whistling. Whistling. Excellent. Please make sure you continue to mark. Continue to mark those words. Whistling. We've got the ng phonogram here too. Whistling. Now, another word that uses that hua phonogram is wholesome. Would you write that? Wholesome. The first syllable is whole, like the whole class came to school today. The second syllable is some, like I saw some of my friends at the park earlier. Some and whole. We've got two silent final E's, one for each syllable. Wholesome. Wholesome. We've got also two O's as part of a vowel consonant vowel pattern with a silent final E. Wholesome. Okay, that's all for now. Please take out your binder now for a new spelling lesson. Did anybody get all of those words right in their practice and review? Great job if so. Next, we're going to take out our binder. As we do that, would you all join me in doing some skip counting for some multiplication? Let's skip count by sixes all the way up to 72 as we take out our binder. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72. And let's also skip count by sevens as we are getting out our things for spelling today. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84. Skip counting by sevens. Would anybody like to unmute themselves and skip count by eights as we're still transitioning to some spelling? Dikshita, would you skip count by eights all the way to 96? That's the answer to 8 times 12.
What? Okay. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 56, 54, 72, 80, 88.
Excellent. And then 96 would be the last one because that's 8 times 12. Great job. Now let's do skip counting by nines. Could somebody volunteer to skip count by nines? Next, this is what we have worked up to just yesterday. Alexander, I'd love for you to do that for us. From 9 all the way to 108. That's the end of our times tables.
All right. I'm going to have to use my secret weapon. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 4, 63, 72, 81.
9 times 10
90.
is good. Add 9 more.
99 and 108.
Way to go, Alexander. That was great.
I also wanted to say something that I'm a real heir to the throne.
You're an heir to the throne because your name's Alexander?
No. Like literally my history.
Whoa. You have royalty in your blood. Wow. Boys and girls, by the way, for those of you who are still struggling with some math facts occasionally, I would recommend skip counting like that as one good strategy. If you're trying to solve for 8 times 6, for example. Skip count by sixes all the way until you get to 8. 6, 12, 18, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. Or did I get that wrong? I was skip counting by sixes. Sorry. So 48, 54, and then I guess I skipped over the 6 times 8, but that would be 48. So once you get to 8, when you're skip counting by sixes, then you would stop to find the answer to 6 times 8. Or flip it, skip count by eights and stop when you get to 6. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So skip count if you don't know off the top of your head the answer to one of those problems. And you can even number it on your hands so that you're able to see how many groups or how many skip counts you are going by. Okay, time for a new spelling lesson today. Our first word today is going to go with a word from yesterday, respond. This word is an adjective meaning you take care of your things well, you're mature, you are responsible. Responsible. Okay, so for the word responsible, we're going to keep that base word response, but dropping that silent final E, we don't need it anymore, and adding an able suffix. We use an able suffix kind of like the able suffix. Responsible, kind of like probable, but this is able. Put your fingers under your chin, please, to say responsible. Responsible, 4 syllables. Our first syllable, E is in an open syllable. And our second syllable, it's basic code, response, just like the word from yesterday, but we don't have a silent final E anymore. Now for the able suffix, what sounds do you hear? I, one sound, that's just I-E. And in the last syllable, B, ol. So we need a silent final E, job 4. So, boys and girls looking at the camera, can you sound out responsible, the word you're writing? Responsible. Very good. Pick up your pencil and write it. E, syllable break. Response. Response. It's our word from yesterday. We just dropped our silent final E. Next is I, syllable break. Silent final E. Responsible. Okay. For our markings, we've got E saying its name in an open syllable. Second syllable is basic code. I is saying its first sound, even though it's an open syllable. We're not going to mark it because it's just saying its first sound. Over here, it's a silent final E, job 4. Underline B and O. They're the reason for the silent final E. This modifies a noun or a pronoun. For example, the little responsible boy helped his parents out when they were sick. What part of speech is that when it's modifying a noun? Rishith, what part of speech modifies a noun or a pronoun?
Adverb.
Close. Adjective. An adverb modifies a verb. An adjective modifies a noun. Okay. Responsible. We're going to look next at a base word for a few different words that we're going to write. The base word is apply. Would you say apply? Apply. To apply is an action, and it means that you're like submitting your name or some information for someone to consider, using another spelling word from recently. Like maybe you apply to go to summer camp. Your parents might apply for a job. You might apply by submitting some art for turkey trot drawings. So applying usually has to do with turning something in or maybe putting your name into consideration. You can also hear it in the phrases like apply yourself, which means, give some good effort. Apply. We think to spell this word apply, it looks very much like the word apple. Apply. Looks very similar to that, and it sounds like it when we think to spell. Okay, so apply. Put your fingers under your chin to say it with me. Apply. 2 syllables. In our first syllable, we've got a silent P, keeping the vowel short, just like in apple. It's a double consonant. Okay? In our second syllable, what sounds do you hear? P, O, I. 3 sounds. Now that I sound is I-E, saying the second vowel sound. Apply. Pick up your pencil and write it, please. Like my parent applied for a job, or she decided to apply for a special summer camp. Apply. Arshav, are you done already? I've seen a little bit of moving around on your end. Are you finished with the word? Okay, apply. A, P, syllable break. P, O, I. Apply. Check that your spelling matches mine. Now, if we were to read this in a book, we would say apply. Apply. So this is an unstressed syllable. How do we mark it? Good job, Emma. Good job, Samhita. And Sahanasri Kruthi. Thinking cap on that A-A-aw. Over here. Silent P. Apply is the way we would pronounce this word. It's just there to keep it short, so it's not apply. Which vowel sound of y, I, e are we saying? I, I, e. Apply. I, e. Which vowel sound? Hold up your fingers. Show me which vowel sound. Good job, Harika. Great job, Alina. Second sound, second vowel sound. And this word is an action. It's a verb.
It does look like apple.
It does, doesn't it? So that's a good way to remember it. You could think, I will apply myself to eating this apple. I'm going to work really hard at eating this apple. Okay, let's turn it into a past tense verb now. We're going to change I-E to I-E and add ed to past tense ending. Applied. Go ahead and write that. Applied. We're just going to change our Y to an I before we add ed to past tense ending. Preeti and Aryansh, would you write applied? Past tense. We change our Y to an I if we're adding a suffix. We're just adding ed to past tense ending. Arshab, I see you looking at the camera. Did you finish writing your word already? Applied. Looks like Ben's still writing. Let us know when you're done, Ben. And Josiah. Applied. We think to spell applied. Excellent. Okay. P, syllable break. P, ol, I. We're changing I-E to I-E. Thumbs up if you did that. And ed to past tense ending. Applied. Okay, in our first syllable, show me how we mark this. We've got a first unstressed syllable. Good job, Josiah. Good job, Dikshita. It's unstressed syllable, so it's saying an sound. Arshab, Sahanasri, make sure that you're showing markings. Rishith as well. Show me the markings. How are we going to mark this P? It's silent. Good job. Over here, applied. I says its name, so we're going to underline it. And which sound are we saying of this ed to? Applied. Ed to. Applied. Good job. Underline it, Ben. You're right. And Josiah and Harika, you're correct. It's the second sound. Applied. Ed to. Great job, Ben. This one is also a verb. It's just a past tense verb. One more word that goes with that base word that we're going to write is application. Now, a lot of words we can just add the -shan suffix to. With this one, application, we can't just add the -shan suffix. So we add another extra syllable, application. Okay? So application, we still are using the I, not the Y, because we're adding a suffix. Aryansh, don't write yet? Fingers under your chin to say application. Application. 4 syllables. The first two, we already know, apply, using I-E for the I sound. In the third syllable, applique, what sounds do you hear? K-A. Let's do that again. K-A. 2 sounds. We're using k-s and a-a-aw, saying its name in an open syllable. The fourth syllable is our Sean suffix with tall letter sh. Pick up your pencil and write application. P, syllable break. P, o, I, syllable break. K, a, syllable break. Sh, n. Application. Okay, let's mark it. Application. We don't need a thinking cap anymore because we now are going to pronounce this the correct way, application. And that's because this is now an unstressed syllable. Instead of applied, it's application. So this is now the one that's unstressed. Application. How do we mark this syllable? Application. Good job, Arianch. Applique, a. What do you hear here? Sorry, I didn't mean to repeat myself. I meant what do you hear, as in with your ears, here in this syllable. Application. Gosh, tall letter sh. And a thinking cap as usual for that Sean suffix. Now, when we see a Sean suffix, what part of speech does that make it? When we see a Sean suffix, it's a noun. Great job. Okay, one more word. Our last word is difficult. Not like it's difficult to spell, but it's the word difficult. That's our word. Okay, so difficult is our word. You see this one pretty often in books that you read. I think a lot of you can picture this word in your head probably right now. Difficult. Fingers under your chin to say it. Difficult. 3 syllables. We've got another double consonant, double F. Difficult. So make sure you have a double F. One in the first syllable is there to close it off. Diff. Second syllable is basic code. Now, what are the sounds in the last syllable? Difficult. K, a, o, t. 4 sounds. So we're using a, u, u, and it blends into that o, difficult. But think of it as difficult. There's an a, u, u, before that o. Okay? Pick up your pencil and write difficult. The vowel in the last phonogram again, or sorry, last syllable is a, u, u. Difficult. And show me a thumbs up once you're done writing difficult. Okay. Let's see, waiting for Emma to finish and Alexander and Ben. Marcus, show me when you're done with difficult. D, if, syllable break. I, syllable break. K, a, ol, t. Difficult. Who spelled it right? So this one, it almost is like you're just saying k, ol, t. Really make sure you've got the sound there. Now in our first syllable, difficult. Double underline that first. It's just there to close it off. Second syllable. No markings needed, it's basic code. Third syllable. No markings needed, it's basic code. Now difficult is what part of speech? It modifies a noun or a pronoun. So what does that make it? What part of speech modifies a noun or a pronoun, Josiah?
Adjective.
Correct, adjective. Okay, those are all the words for today. Let's move on. Dictated sentence. Yes, Ariansh, do you have a question?
I just wanted to know if there's a U there, because the U has to be there in order for that syllable to, because English syllables can't have only consonants in them. They have to have a vowel.
That's exactly right. We need a written vowel in every English syllable, which can include a Y. So, and we don't have a silent final E there. So we need a vowel there, even though it might not sound like there is a vowel. But you're right, every English syllable needs a written vowel. Okay, our sentence for today is the following. Let me find it. The responsible woman filled out a difficult application. Okay, again, the responsible woman filled out a difficult application. Do you have that in your head? Can you picture a responsible woman filling out a difficult application? Okay, pick up your pencil and write that sentence. The responsible woman filled out a difficult application. And if you have time, create a sentence of your own too. Yes, Dikshita?
Do we have do we have one like test it in Friday, like a quiz test?
Thursday, there will be a spelling quiz instead, because Friday is the day before our break, and so it's mainly going to be kind of holiday activities for Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
So the only quiz that you'll have is a little history quiz on Bright Thinker, but everything else is going to be a little unusual, a little different.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Could you give me a thumbs up if you are finished with the sentence I gave you? I know some of you are still writing, but you're writing sentences of your own. Who's finished with the dictated sentence, though? Most of you, it looks like. Alina and Alexander, I don't see you. Can you come back to your spots? Oh, there is Alexander. And Harika, I'm having a hard time seeing you too. Is there any chance you
I
could?
was right here.
I see, Alexander. You were just so low, I couldn't see your head. Harika, can you lower it a little bit more so we can see your face better, sweetheart? That's better. Thank you. Okay. The responsible woman filled out, was it A or the difficult application? I think it was just A, but if you said the, that's fine too. Difficult application. Responsible difficult application. Lots of double consonants. The responsible woman filled out a difficult application. Okay. Let's hear just one sentence that you created. I want to move into well-ordered language pretty quickly. So let's hear just from Samhita. Please share your sentence that you created using spelling words.
It is very difficult to apply for our discoveries.
Oh, nice. Using discoveries, which was a recent word as well. Well done, Samhita. Okay, let's move into some well-ordered language time. Would you take out your well-ordered language workbook and move around a little bit for our songs? Hopefully you're getting more and more used to these 3 new songs that we've been doing. One tells us what a pronoun is. The other one lists the subject pronouns. And the third song tells us about antecedents, which is the word that a pronoun replaces. For example, if I said, Sahanasri likes to wear her headphones during class. She is probably able to focus better when she wears them. The pronoun she is taking the place of the antecedent, Sahanasri. Or Emma is wearing headphones today. She is wearing them because people are working on her roof. Although I don't see her wearing them anymore.
They ran out of batteries.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, let's do our new songs, and I want you to get up and dance with these. Starting with our pronoun jingle. This tells us what a pronoun is. A pronoun is a part of speech used in place of a noun or nouns. A pronoun is, Ben's really moving, part of speech used in place of a noun or nouns. A pronoun is, big finish, a part of speech. Big finish. Okay, a pronoun is a part of speech used in place of a noun or nouns. Now for our subject pronoun jingle. Sing them with me. This is the one that lists all 8. Dun, 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 dun. Subject pronouns are in the nominative case. List them with me. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Come on, Arshad. Come on, Harika. Sing along. In the nominative case. Come on, Marcus. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Fade out. Start to whisper. I don't know if you can hear that well, but in the song, it gets quieter and quieter, it fades out. So I think it's fun to kind of whisper the last ones. Okay, last song is the antecedent jingle. Feel free to look at your book if you want to see, especially since these are kind of harder words. The antecedent is a noun, clause, or phrase to which a pronoun refers. If the antecedent is singular, then the pronoun is singular too. Come on over, Ben. Clause or phrase is plural, then the pronoun must be plural too. The antecedent determines which pronoun is used. Ba-bum-bum. Okay. Let's take out our workbooks. If you haven't already, we are going to quickly go over the answers to part of your pages that you did yesterday. And Ben, let's take the eye mask off now. Our songs are a great time to move around and be active, but I also want you still thinking of the lyrics. Okay. On page 165, just very briefly going over parts of this. You've got pronouns as the subject of every sentence. Who can tell me the subject pronoun in sentence A? Just the subject pronoun. We won't go over the rest right now. Harika, could you tell us the subject pronoun in sentence A?
What page is it again?
165. Let's see, everybody ready on page 165. I'll get to Harika for the next one. Could Marcus tell me the subject pronoun in sentence A? Harika, be ready for sentence B. Marcus, would you unmute yourself and tell us what is the subject pronoun in the sentence? Earlier, they told silly jokes. Oh, he doesn't have his workbook route either. Okay, I'll get to Marcus for sentence C. Be ready for sentence C, Marcus. Rishith, can you tell us the subject pronoun in sentence A?
They.
Correct. They. How do we mark it, Rishith?
As the subject.
Good. So we just put an S on top and underline it, just like we would always do for the subject. Harika, sentence B, what's the subject pronoun?
The subject pronoun for B is
Harika,
he.
please hold up. Correct, he. Could you please hold up your page? It sure looks like you are trying to solve it off the top of your head.
I didn't yet do it.
Harika, this is a daily assignment. I'm going to let your parents know that you haven't been completing this. This needs to be done every single day, sweetheart. Yes, ma'am? Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult to keep up. Okay, Marcus, could you tell us the subject pronoun for sentence C now?
She.
Correct, she. Now, As we're getting into subject pronouns, by the way, it might start to get confusing as you start to see short words and think, oh, well, it might be a helping verb or an article adjective or a subject pronoun. If you're just thinking through, it's a short word. But continue to make a good mental picture of what's happening. Like, she did not laugh hard. What is did in the sentence? Helping verb. Great job, Emma. What about not? What is not? Always, always, always. An adverb. So we're doing short words. It's going to start getting really difficult if you try to just quickly, oh, he must have giggled, continue. Start marking your words quickly, quickly. Just based off of what they look like. That is not going to help you at all if you start marking based off of just what they look like. Picture what's happening. She did not laugh hard. She is laughing is the action, even though it is saying she did not do it. Laughing is your action. He must have giggled continually. What's the action there? Giggled. Must and have are just helping verbs. Make sure you're really picturing what is happening in these sentences. Make a good mental picture. Okay, Emma, could you tell us how you filled out your chart on the next page, page 166? You're still muted, sweetheart. I don't know if you're explaining it yet, but could you unmute yourself?
The chart thing. Okay. For
That's going to go in the first box here for the first singular. Do you want to sing our song? I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. So what goes in the first box?
I.
Correct. I. What goes in the second box, Kruthi? I'll have a few different people help out with this. Kruthi, what goes here?
In the second box?
Mm-hmm.
He?
I, you, he, she.
You?
What comes after I in our song? You. Good job. Now, the next one, Alexander, has 3 words. What are the 3 words?
I got it covered. He, she, it.
Excellent. He, she, and it. These are all third-person singular, meaning you're referring to someone, whether it's a boy, girl, or just a thing. This is the only one that has different words depending on if it's a boy, a girl, or just an object. Finally, over here, it should be we, you, and they. Boys and girls, it seems like quite a few of you were not actually ready with answers for the pages today. When that assignment says due today, even if you can submit it late, when it's a daily assignment like well-ordered language and math, it gets really difficult to be behind, right? Especially since we go over the answers a lot of times the very next day. So please remember to finish these pages. It is posted in Bright Thinker. And it would be the easiest thing to do as soon as you're done with class because it's fresh on your mind along with the math, right? We just did both of those together. And so it's fresh on your mind to keep going with that after your class period each day. The pages you're going to do today are pages 167 to 170. You've got another identical chart to fill out. This is going to be exactly like the last one. He, she, and it go together, all 3 of those. Everything else is just going to be a word on each line, just like our song. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay. Page 167 has you finding the correct subject pronoun to go along with the antecedent. This time, though, the antecedent is not underlined, so it's a little harder than yesterday's. Let's just do one together. Arshad, in this first one, it says, Lucy found the book, blank quickly told Dad. Before we fill in the blank, could you tell us what is the subject of this sentence? And then that subject is going to be the antecedent.
The subject is Lucy, and in the blank is she.
Excellent. She is the correct pronoun to replace Lucy, the antecedent. So I want you to underline the subject so that you're able to see what it actually, sorry, this one, it's getting a little bit trickier than we should do. Let's see, Dad snuggled Lucy and Peggy, blank, listen to the tale. In this one, Dad snuggled Lucy and Peggy. Even though this is a direct object, this is going to become the subject of the next sentence, okay? So this is the one you're replacing. With everything else, I think it should be pretty clear, though, which one is the antecedent. A sailor dragged the boat on shore, blank fell on the ground. It's the sailor that fell on the ground. The floor of the cave was dry, blank provided a safe shelter. So find what is the word that we're replacing with a pronoun. Okay. And I'd like us to do one sentence together on page 168 as an example. Going through all of the words of our analysis. And then for sentence 2, I'll have Alina share how to mark it. He hungrily eyed the sweet grapes. This is a sentence and it is declarative. This sentence is about he. So he is the subject because it is what the sentence is about. Can you picture he hungrily eyed the sweet grapes? Do you have a picture of that? Good. Now, this sentence tells us that he eyed. If you were doing that on your own and you didn't know what that meant, it basically means look at. But that would be a good thing to ask your parents about if you're not sure. Or you can send me a quick little email and I'll try to respond quickly. This sentence tells us that he eyed. So eyed is the predicate verb because it is what the sentence tells us about he. There is no linking verb because predicate verbs do not need linking verbs. There's also no helping verb. Because as you can see, this one is not a helping verb. This sentence tells us that he eyed grapes. Grapes tells us what he eyed, right? It is an objective element because it completes the meaning of an action verb. It is a direct object because it tells us what he eyed. Hungrily tells us how he eyed. It's an adverbial element because it modifies a verb. It is an adverb. Boys and girls, make sure you're drawing arrows like me, not putting an ADV on top of the word. Draw the arrow and put it down here. Sweet tells us what kind of grapes. It's an adjective element because it modifies a noun. It's an adjective. The tells us which grapes. It's an adjective element because it modifies a noun. It's an adjective. Okay, Alina, tell us what we'll do for sentence 2, starting with finding the subject, then the predicate verb, then the modifiers.
Okay, so they is the subject, hanging is the predicate verb, were is the helping verb, fortunately is the adverb, high is the adjective.
So close. So high, that's kind of a tricky one. This is not telling us they were hanging what. It's not a direct object. It's also not going to be an adjective because it does not describe they. An adjective needs to describe a noun or pronoun. What is it doing here? So Alina, if it's not a direct object or an adjective, what could it be?
Mm, it is an adverb.
Correct, adverb.
Yeah, that was a kind of tricky
That one was
one.
kind of tricky, I agree. Here's a hint.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if there is a word at the end of a sentence, it's an adverb. A lot of times we've seen that it can be a direct object, but if it's not a direct object, a lot of times the last word of a sentence is an adverb. At least in our
Yeah,
it works out that way. I don't know if you all have noticed that, but a lot of times an adverb can be the first or last word. The adjectives are always before the noun they describe, though. Okay? So this is not before a noun it's describing, so it's not an adjective, even though high could be an adjective sometimes, depending on the sentence. Okay? Excellent. Time for some orthography notebook and roots. Let's say our poem together as we take out orthography. Would anybody like to do it for us? Alexander, I'd love to have you say it for us. The first Thanksgiving of all. So as we take out our notebooks, you can say it for us.
Will I be graded?
Are you ready for it to be graded?
No.
Okay, then
I
no.
only got I barely have it. Like I got
Okay.
to like I got to
I
a
will help
while,
you out if you get stuck.
but I got most of it. Great. Hi. The First Thanksgiving of All by Ogden Nash.
Nancy Bird Turner. Ogden
Okay.
Nash was the poet from the last one.
Sorry, Nancy Bird Turner.
Okay.
The first Thanksgiving. Wait, no. Peace and Mercy and Jonathan and Patience, very small, stood at the table giving thanks. The first Thanksgiving of all. There is very little to eat, nothing good, nothing sweet. Only a little broth and a little bread. And that's all I got.
Only a little bread and a bit of broth
bit of bread or a little broth, okay.
and a bit of fruit and no tablecloth. We want to make sure it's bread then broth so that it rhymes with tablecloth.
Oh, yeah.
So Peace and Mercy and Jonathan and Patience in a row stood up and asked a blessing on Thanksgiving long ago. Thankful they were their ship had come safely across the sea. Thankful they were for hearth and home and kin and company. They were glad of broth to go with their bread. Glad their apples were round and red. Glad of mayflowers they would bring out of the woods again next spring. So Peace and Mercy and Jonathan and Patience, very small, stood up gratefully giving thanks. The first Thanksgiving of all.
First Thanksgiving of all by Nancy Bird Turner.
Good. Thank you, Alexander.
Still working on it.
Hey, Miss
We
Pam,
want to have those, sweetheart, don't unmute yourself without permission.
Memorize by like tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yep,
practice.
by tomorrow. And I'll post actually that as an assignment in Bright Thinker to make sure you are following along with the video.
Yeah, okay.
Practicing that. Okay, for lesson 38, the first word was responsible. That goes with these words yesterday, respond and response. Please write responsible. Next, please write apply. We think to spell apply. Remember, it looks a lot like apple. Apply. Apply. Next is the past tense, applied. Past tense. Syllable break. O-I-D. Applied. And the next one is application. Please write application. Application. Sean. And last word is difficult. Difficult. Old. Okay. For the sake of time today, we're not going to sort in any of the pages, although we could have some part of speech sorting for an adjective here, some verbs, we've got a noun, and another good adjective. But we're going to move on to some roots now, writing 2 new root cards to go with yesterday's word. Take out those cards from yesterday along with some new index cards, please. We're learning the Scopus words. What does Scopus mean? Or it looks like Scopus. What does that mean? If you're not sure, find the card. Good, Emma. Can you unmute yourself to tell us?
Scope is
Oh, sorry, not Scopus. Scopio.
Scopio. Scopio is to see, to look,
Consider.
consider, examine.
Excellent. To see, look, consider, or examine. Scopio. We specifically looked at the derivative scope, which means all that the eye can see. That has to do with, as we mentioned, the part of a camera where you put your eye against it. And it's also, for our eyes, the scope is everything that we can see in front of us and a little bit to the side of us. It also is on guns to allow you to aim better. Today we're going to look at 2 more derivatives of the word Scopio, starting with the word telescope. We were just talking about this one yesterday. So a telescope which means to look at, to see or look, and tele is far away or distant. So telescope, we're putting it with that old one, tela, that we learned several weeks ago, and scope, to look at. So it's a device for seeing distant objects. So this one connects with 2 words, and I think we even have a different card that says telescope on it. Occasionally we'll do double derivatives because it connects with 2 different words. So it's a device for seeing distant objects. Telescope. Telescope. And we're going to look at another one that we have not learned the Greek word for, but we did see it in the word microphone last week. What does micros mean? Micro means what based off of microphone that we learned? Emma?
Tiny. Or like
Good. Small or tiny. So microscope means what? Dikshita?
I didn't raise up my hand.
I saw you react though. What do you think microscope means? If scope means to see or look, and micro means small.
Seeing small?
Excellent. So it is a device for looking at small objects rather than distant objects, small objects. Microscope. Oh, Emma. Emma's got a microscope, it looks like. And a little science kit. Can you unmute yourself?
So I
and talk
have
about that?
American Girl doll, and I got this like science set, and it came with this little book.
Oh, how cute.
And on this page, there's one right there.
Oh, a little microscope.
And
How
science.
adorable. Mini.
Whoa,
science.
that's so cool. This-
Are you actually able to read it? Or
Yeah,
is it too
there's-
small?
It is kind of tiny, but you can still read it, kind of.
What are the parts of an ecosystem? Oh my goodness. Perfect connection. That should just be your little science textbook.
Yeah.
That's adorable. Okay, so a microscope is a device for looking at small objects. I'll present my screen for you to see a picture of what that looks like. How many of you have used a microscope before? Nice. So here is a microscope. And you would put whatever it is that you're looking at right here, and it zooms way, 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 way in so that you're able to actually see what it's like. Because there are certain parts, the study of biology, that are too tiny for us to really see the details of unless we zoom way in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if there's one that has a little tray.
And last year we got to look through some.
Nice.
In second grade.
So
Yeah.
here's a microscope in use. Able to see small cells zoomed way in, and some microscopes are better than others. So scientists would have the best type of microscopes possible, whereas there are some kid versions that still work pretty well. They may not zoom in quite as much, but there are some kid versions of these microscopes, so you can see teeny tiny things with much better detail.
And the science one came with a microscope too, but I'm not sure where it is. I can try to look for it. It was like an American Girl doll size kind of one.
Yeah, so if you find it, you can show us tomorrow. Oh, and Ariant, would you like to share what you've got behind you? His telescope. Can you unmute yourself and tell us about it? Oh, and there, Ben has a microscope. Perfect. Okay, let's hear from Ben after you.
So, this telescope, I got it from my mom's cousin, I think. He comes by almost every year and gets a gift for me. So this was probably for my birthday, I think. And it's pretty heavy, so if you try lifting it up, it doesn't work out. What?
The coolest thing that you've seen with it? What's been the coolest thing you've seen with it?
The planet Titan.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not kidding, it was clear blue.
Let's pull up a
That's what
picture of
I
that so
think.
people can see it.
I think so, I saw a Titan.
I'm going to just pull up a picture so that people can see. So
Okay.
Titan right here, one of Saturn's moons, is as large as a planet, but it's just a moon. There it is. Oh my goodness. How cool.
It was a lot more bluer than that, maybe because that photo was taken at a different time than I took it when I saw it, because every day I go outside and when it's like 7 or 6, then I just use my telescope and see planets. But the hardest part is to aim it at it. Because once I just saw the sky and it looked like there was a star there, but I never got to see it because I never could aim it correctly.
Okay. So yes, your telescope probably has a scope on it for you to be able to see it better. Arshad, do you have a telescope as well?
Yeah, but I know 2 other moons of Saturn.
Of Saturn? Okay, could you tell us?
Rhea and Iapetus.
Nice. Having a good understanding of mythology and knowing that well helps you to know a lot of the moons well, because most of those have been named after Greek gods and goddesses. Okay, Alina, please take off that background. And Ben, could you unmute yourself and tell us a little about that microscope?
So I got this one for Christmas, and it came with these little packets that you can slide into right here. Let me turn the light off because it's kind of bright. You can
Oh,
see
cool.
right here. And it zooms in, and you can look at, like, for example, a bee wing or part of a plant. There's like 10 packs.
So it
that I
already
got.
came with like parts of an insect or plant for you to look at?
Yes, but I think right now they're up in my closet, so I need
That's
to
okay.
get those. I could grab this though. So this is the microscope, and then these are the lens,
Nice.
and then the back, and then there's a little light that goes on. Now, a second ago, I was looking and I saw these teeny tiny hairs right on the little area where it's shining the light at. So I looked in, and it looked like it was at least this big.
You mean you put a hair down there to look at?
No, it was already there because it's been sitting somewhere for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it has some like dirt or something on it, and it has now some like little dirt, and I could see it really big.
Okay. That's really cool. Even when it gets dirty, it's actually useful. You're able to see something interesting there. Okay.
You see germs?
Oh, decomposers.
Well, we're going to have to cut off there, even though I love seeing some of the great devices you all have at home where you're able to learn about the planets and moons and parts of a planet. All right, but at this time, we're going to take out our math notebooks. All right, so I would encourage you all to take out telescopes and microscopes if you do have them at home. That would be a fun thing to use today at some point. If you have any of those devices at home. And then you can tell us tomorrow, for example, with the microscope, what you looked at and what was maybe unusual. What were some observations you made? Ariansh, maybe you can use your telescope tonight and tell us if you see anything cool. Okay, so for math today, we are going to spend our last day on multiplication, actually. And I know some of you are still not finished knowing your math multiplication facts completely. That's okay. You are going to continue having time to practice them, but we're actually starting division tomorrow. Now, division is the inverse of multiplication. So if you know that 6 times 6 is, what is the answer? 6 times 6 is 36. Then we're going to see that 36 divided by 6 equals 6. So continuing to practice all these multiplication facts. I know some of you are super excited about division. I'm glad. This is a good extra challenge. And if you're not feeling super confident with multiplication yet, it's okay, because we're going to continue practicing our multiplication facts in relation to division. They really go hand in hand. So it may seem like we're already moving on from multiplication, but it's because these two go together so well. Okay, but I would like to go over a cool trick to help you with your nines. And we're also going to go over these strategies that we've been doing, just reviewing some of the most common mistakes that I've been seeing for some of the multiplication ways to represent a math fact. Okay, now first of all, let's skip count by nines together. Not actually, and let me think of the tune of that little song. Actually, maybe I'll just pull it up on YouTube. So I think it's 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. I think that's it, right? Okay, let's do that together. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Can you count with me? Because for each one, you're saying basically 9 times 1 equals 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Again, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Can anybody do it for us? The 9 songs? Samhita? 9.
9, 18, 27, 30, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90.
Nice. Sahanasri, could you try it for us?
9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90.
Excellent job. Let's hear one more from Alina, counting by nines. Marcus and Harika, you should still be here. Let me see your faces.
Okay. 9. Okay. 9, 18, 27, 36.
I think you got it, Alina, but it's cutting out. Let's do it one more time all together. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Counting by nines. Okay, I'd like to go over another 9 trick. We've had so many of these, but I want to show you the finger trick. And has anybody seen how to multiply by 9s with your fingers? Alexander, you know this one? Marcus, you too? Okay, Marcus, unmute yourself, and I'll have you help me out in describing it to the class. So everybody hold up your 2 hands.
Okay.
Now, if I said 9 times 2, hold down your second finger. Actually, does that look like the 8th or 9th finger for you guys? Should I hold down this one? Is that better? Does that look like the second? Like, okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if I say 9 times 2, I'm going to hold down this second finger, because that's finger number 2. And what do you see on this side of the finger, on the left side? 1. How many fingers are on the right side of the one that's down?
5.
5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 8, 18. Look at that. Now let's try 9 times 3. Put down your third finger, finger number 3. How many fingers are on the left? 2, 20, 7. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now try it with your fourth finger. 9 times 4. Here's finger number 4. Put down finger number 4. How many are on the left of that finger? 3. How many fingers are on the right of that finger? 5, 6, 36. Now try 9 times 5. This is finger number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many fingers are up on the left of it? 45. Okay, show me 9 times 6 now. 54. Try 9 times 7. 63. Try 9 times 8. 72. It's working every single time. How about 9 times 9? 88 and 1. Now, even if we do 9 times 10, it actually works, because if we do 9 times 10, we could put down our 10th finger, and it's 9 and 0 over here. 90. Pretty cool, right? That is a fun trick for knowing our 9s as well. So many cool tricks.
I thought you meant a different trick because I know a different trick.
What's that, Alexander? Oh, energy flow in ecosystems. Nice, Emma. That's what we're talking about this week.
So pretty much like you do it and then like you take one away. You do 9, take it away. 18, because there's 8 left, and take one away. 27, there's 7 left, and take one away. 36, because there's 6, and take one away. 45, and then 54, 63, 72, 81, 90.
Oh, nice. I've never seen it done in that way. That's cool. Okay, well, I hope you're finding good strategies for whatever problems you're still trying to memorize. How many of you have been practicing your multiplication cards every single day? Every school day? Excellent. That's part of your daily math assignments. And once again, I highly encourage you to make easy piles and hard piles so that you're really practicing more the ones that you don't know yet. Okay, well, let's go over our some of the strategies that we've been doing for visualizing multiplication that I've seen a few problems with lately. So I want you to open up your math notebook at this time. Okay, write your header at the top. This is still lesson 6.5. Okay. One part of multiplication that I saw a few problems with on the quiz from last week that I wanted to go over is when we are multiplying 3 digits all by each other. Okay. For example, if we have 4 times 3 times 2, okay? You write that on your paper. Whenever we are multiplying 3 different digits, it does not matter which order that we multiply them. We will get the exact same answer. But we do need to multiply all 3. And the way we can do that is, for example, looking at these first 2, that's what I would usually do, just going in order, left to right. What is 4 times 3 equal to, boys and girls? 4 times 3 equals 12. Now we take the answer to that product. We take this product and multiply it by 2. Marcus, I should see you writing this down, bud. Now we've got the problem 12 times 2. We still need to keep multiplying because we did not multiply by 2 yet. What does 12 times 2 equal, boys and girls? 24. It's the same as 12 plus 12, 24. Okay. Now, if you multiplied 2 times 3, you would have gotten an answer of 6, and 6 times 4 also equals 12. So you get the exact same answer if you multiply in a different order. Now, on the quiz, there were some problems with parentheses as well. We are not going to have that on a test in the future, but I do want to walk through how to do those problems when you do have something in parentheses first. If we have a problem like 1, let's see, no, we'll take 2 times 5 times 2. Whenever you have a problem like this, and this is really getting into some beginning algebra, algebra is going to be much more difficult than this, but thinking about just when you see parentheses, you multiply the part that's in parentheses always first. So what is 5 times 2? We look at the parentheses first. What's the answer to that, Samhita?
It's 10, but I know what this is called.
What is it called?
It's called board mass.
What is it?
Board mass.
I've never heard that before. Is that what they called it at your old school?
Well, that's what I learned. It first goes, D means division, M means multiplication, A means addition, S means subtraction. You have to do it in that order.
Nice. Okay, and so you used board mass to be the abbreviated form of that? Very good. Well, we're not going to continue doing that in third grade, but I wanted to walk through this since it happened to be on that quiz from before, just in case you were confused about where the parentheses are. Once you're done finding the part that's in parentheses, we multiply that by the part that's on the outside. In this case, it's a 2. So then we solve for 2 times 10, which equals, what does 2 times 10 equal to? 20. Excellent. Remember that the 10 rule is that we just add a 0. Think of it as 2 times 1 is 2, and then add a 0. 20. Okay, so that was one mistake I saw fairly often on that quiz, which I gave credit for you all on this one because that should not have been part of our quiz. That was not in your instruction. But I wanted to still go through what that was like because it is related to these types of problems. Okay, and one more type of problem I want to go over before we end our math time is the types of problem you've been doing for 6s, 7s, and 8s with using easier facts to solve for harder facts. This really is a very helpful strategy, but I know that it can be a little confusing in your books. I think something that will help you is to make sure that you're focusing on it being groups of a certain number. Okay, so let's take the 8s. Maybe the 8s are a little bit harder for you. So you can think of 8 groups of 6, for example. And let's write that in parentheses, 8 groups of 6. Can you picture 8 little groups of 6? That's what we're referring to here. One way to solve this would be to think of 5 groups of 6. Okay, so if we're thinking of 8 groups of 6, we would take an easier fact like 5 groups of 6, and how many more groups do we need to add to it? To get 8 groups, we would add 5 plus how many more groups? Show me with your fingers up to the camera. Think of it this way, 5 plus what number equals 8? 5 plus what equals 8? Because we're trying to solve for 8 groups of 6. So we want to use 5 groups of 6 and add how many more groups of 6? For those of you who showed me, thank you very much. I should still see Marcus and Arshad, Harika. If we're trying to solve for 8 groups of 6, we're going to add 5 groups of 6 plus what? 5 plus blank equals 8. What's the answer? Show me with your fingers. Show me with your fingers. Very good. We add 5 groups of 6 and 3 groups of 6. And I do think it is the most helpful to really think through that it's groups of. Okay. So we're trying to get 8 groups. To do that, we add 5 groups and 3 groups because 5 plus 3 equals 8. Now from there, we're going to, and I'm going to use a colored pencil for this part. We're going to write what 5 groups of 6 is equal to, or 5 times 6. What is 5 times 6? 5 times 6 equals what, Harika?
5 times 6 equals 30.
Correct, 30. Or we could think of it as 5 groups of 6 equals 30. Now, 3 groups of 6. What is 3 times 6 or 3 groups of 6? Arshad? 3 groups of 6 or 3 times 6. What is it equal to? Very good. 6, 12, 18. That's 3 groups of 6. Now we can add, oh, what did I do wrong? I'm sorry, boys and girls, I messed this up. Oh, I'm just writing it down wrong. Okay, sorry, I thought I had messed up a different problem. I was just writing 6 instead of, you are correct, 18. Okay, we are doing this right. So now we have 30 plus 18. That's easier to solve for. We can do that mentally by just adding our 10s and then adding our 1s. What is 30 plus 18 equal to? Sahanastri, what's 30 plus 18?
$48.
Correct, 48. So 8 times 6 equals 48. Now, depending on the number, it's going to be different number of groups that we're adding on. But you're always thinking of it as, for example, 8 groups of 6. So to find 8 groups of 6, we take 5 groups of 6 and add 3 groups of 6 because 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, I've still been seeing some problems with this, which I hate to see that some of you know, for example, what the answer is, but you're just confused by the way that it's worded in the book. But it is a helpful strategy, so I want us to continue practicing this. This will be something that occasionally we'll see even in division, since those two are related. Okay, now next class period, tomorrow, we're actually going to start division. So that's going to be a good extra challenge for you. And if you don't know your multiplication facts yet, this is a good motivation to really learn them because you're going to use them for division. In your math pages for today, after class, you're going to do pages 111, where you just match up the fact, but it's always said a little differently. For example, this is addition, repeated addition of 9s. So if we're adding 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that's 5 groups of 9. So when you are adding 9 5 times, that's 5 groups of 9. When it says something like 4 9s, that means 4 groups of 9, okay? So match them up. Sometimes it'll be matching to a problem, sometimes to an answer. Okay, so a little bit more challenging than some of the ones we've been doing where it's just simply find the answer to the problem. On the next page, page 112, some word problems. Think through these as groups of, there's 4 groups. Each one has 9 stickers on it. What's the problem and what's the answer? And then it says use the pictures to write your own multiplication story problem. So using these items, think through, maybe there are 3 pairs of scissors, each for $6, 2 markers, each for $4, and 5 pencils, each for $2. How much did the person spend in all if they bought that many? So if you need to kind of write out as 3 different parts, each one is how many scissors, how many markers, how many pencils, and then maybe you could have a last step of how much was spent in all. Try to create a multiplication story problem and solve it as well. This will be a good challenge. Okay, that is all you're going to do in math, those 2 pages. And then as you can see, the next pages are division pages. So we are going to look at tomorrow solving division problems using math facts that we already know. And other assignments on Bright Thinker today. You've got some chapters to read in literature, 2 Black Beauty chapters. No macaw crabs today. We are going to do 3 a week. You're going to do another one tomorrow. Also, for history today, you've just got some notes and you can either follow along with the video or just copy the ones that are in Bright Thinker. For science, there's some notes and I'm going to create an energy pyramid with you. So since it involves a picture and everything, you'll have to follow along with the video and do it that way. Remember that with an energy pyramid, it has these producers at the bottom. They store up some energy and then what they don't store is used up. So that part that's used up can't be passed to the next consumer that eats them. Like we use up energy by moving around. If a shark were to eat us, would the shark take the energy that we are using up by exercising and running around? No, it's only able to take the energy that we have stored. So that's what that energy pyramid is showing. The part that's stored, that gets passed on. And then the part that's stored in that next consumer gets passed on. Okay. And remember to be practicing your first Thanksgiving of all poem. I will see you all later tomorrow and just have my reading group stay with me right now. My reading group for today is Dikshita, Aryan, Arshab, and Alina.
Yay.
So I need to let Arshab know. I don't know why he left, but everybody else can head out. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye,
Bye.
Miss Gardner.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
And I do telescope when I was
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Kavita. Make sure
Oh, by the way, this is my telescope.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Emma. Bye, Sahadasri. Bye, Josiah.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Miss Garnet, look at this.
Nice telescope.
Nice.
Yeah, my dad just got it out the garage, and it still works, but I think my dad has to put it back together since he got it out of the garage about 20 minutes back. Yeah, I don't know how to put it on, but my dad says it works. Cool.
It should be simple to put it on. It won't get too complicated where you get so confused.
I'm kind of getting confused to put this on, but yeah. Oh, and Miss Gardner, when are we going to learn astronomy and science? I heard that's the next unit.
You know what? I do not plan the science units. It's a different teacher on the team. So I don't remember if they're going to have light and sound first or if it's astronomy next. But it's probably going to be after Christmas break, probably. Unfortunately. Okay. And I have a special guest speaker who I hope is going to be able to film some really cool things for you guys.
Ooh, and in first grade, there's some cool videos.
Yes, lots of cool videos for astronomy too. Okay,
Miss Garner's dog.
Arshab's mom, so hopefully he'll join us in a second. What, Dikshita?
You have to start recording.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yes, that's right. Bye, Tag.